In Jiu-Jitsu, one of the most challenging things that I've ever faced was seeing a move and practicing it and then getting it to work against bigger, stronger, skilled people on the mat. So we are going to take this crazy, insane move and take you along the journey. That way you can learn from my experience. This is what I would tell myself if I would go back in time and be like, hey, look, Crystal, white belt Crystal, do this. This will save you a lot of time and heartache. Hello, welcome back. It is my birthday. So if you haven't subscribed and you enjoy watching the videos, it takes time and effort. And to all those who have subscribed, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Let's go back about 3 weeks ago. It was a Saturday and my coach Nate came in. He taught a Saturday class and he showed us this move. It was a guillotine and also a Judo throw takedown, an Uki Waza.
Coaching, right? And then I'm returning to my right side stance, and that's when he goes Uki Waza. Resist, change. Gonna sit, release, bring the arm forward.
And when I saw this, in that moment in time, lights went off. I'm like, that move looks familiar. And it was familiar because that was the same move that Kat Zingano used against Amanda Nunes back in the day when UFC was coming up, especially women in UFC was coming up. Like, that move is so cool. It sticks with you, right? Light bulbs just went off and I'm like, this is gonna be a move that I am going to use live. I took Laura, my partner, and I was like, hey, let's practice this move at 50% resistance and then let's increase the resistance on each other until the move breaks down.
It's my only medicine, yeah. Everything I do, I'm just being genuine, yeah. I'm sick of being screwed, feel my own adrenaline, yeah. I do just what I do, and I hope you let me in, yeah. I'm grateful, oh yeah. Able, oh yeah. I'm stable, oh yeah. No label, oh yeah. You know me, I have only a path. I'm lonely, but damn, I'm going to win. I don't want no fake love, I want the real stuff. Everybody listen up, cause I'll only say it once. I'm gonna show you all the path. If you want it bad, I'm gonna show you where it's at. Yeah, how you can get it back. Yeah, cause I ain't never done. I'll be number one, working hella hard until I get just what I want. Yeah, rises like the sun, yeah, fatal like a gun. Shooters gonna shoot and I'm gonna shoot until I won. Yeah, always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Yeah, I put out all this art, it's my only medicine, yeah. Everything I do, I'm just being genuine, yeah. I'm sick of being screwed, feel my own adrenaline, yeah. I do just what I do, and I hope you let me in, yeah. Grateful, oh yeah, able, oh yeah, I'm stable, oh yeah, no label, oh yeah, you know me, I have only a path. I'm lonely, but damn, I'm going to win, yeah.
This was also going to be very helpful for you to know too. When I learn something like a move and I want to integrate it into my game, what I like to do when I'm drilling with resistance is not only do that move, but before in the setup, the step before that move, I want to do another move that I already have and use in my game. That way, when I do this live and I start rolling, everything will come more naturally and I already have a natural setup. One move that I really like to do is Uchimata. So what I practiced was, okay, let's do an Uchimata. Now when you do an Uchimata, one popular defense that will make the Uchimata fail is your opponent will put their hand down. Well, If you do an Uchimata and the Uchimata is successful, great. Like, you can just go from there. But an intelligent defense to an Uchimata is when your opponent posts their hand. Now, if you're in the middle of an Uchimata and your opponent posts their hand, guess what? Their head is down. And if their head is down, then it's very easy to get a front headlock. Other ways that you can get a front headlock is you can do it from a snap down, but I've also found from taking wrestling classes is there's a technique called a club and catch. And the thing I love about a club and catch is when you catch the head, you put your body weight above the head, and that really helps me get bigger, stronger guys to bow their head over a snap down, which is typically a collar tie, and you're using your arm strength and a backward step to snap them down, which is not statistically as successful for me live as a club and catch because of the addition of the weight. And also when I do a club and catch, and the club and catch technique in general, the motion is to get your shoulder above their neck, which sets you up perfectly for the guillotine position, which is the front headlock position, same deal. After hours of drilling and 2 weeks later, now let's fast forward to yesterday, Saturday. I step out on the mat and everybody's rolling and I'm like, all right, let's see who wants to roll with me.
I'm here. Let's do this.
And I am going to try this move live for the first time. I see a purple belt, ask him to roll. And so I immediately just shoot in for a double leg, an outside trip. And then I'm like, Crystal, like, you need to get this new takedown. You can't just resort back to things that you typically like doing. So I'm like, all right. So I go for the head. I do a club and catch with the head. Lo and behold, the move actually worked. Like, all right, let's try this again. Round 2, I rolled with a white belt. Because he was new, I didn't want to stand up with him because there's a high risk for beginners to get hurt when they're doing Jiu-Jitsu or Judo for the first time and they don't yet know break falls. So I didn't want to like practice it on him because I wanted to continue his journey uninjured. So I saw a blue belt who, I mean, this guy is like super strong, obviously outweighs me, can out muscle me. This guy is super strong. And I'm like, all right, let's do it with him. So we start off and I'm trying to get into position, doing body taps.
Yeah. Please tell me that I can't, that I won't, that I fail, that I'll never make it out, yeah. Please tell me all the bad, never good, fill my head full of every single doubt, yeah. Please say any negative thoughts, I pop off when I hear people say I cannot. I get off to the thought of proving everyone wrong, I won't stop to the top, so you better back off and get lost. I'ma stay loud, stay proud, never running out, never heading south. I'll be spreading out, call it word of mouth, can't put me down, I'll be getting loud. You can have it douse, not what I'm about, have your fucking cloud. It be raining now, I keep making sound, go another round, bitch I'm legend bound, can't stop me now.
And then finally see a good opening to do a club and catch to get my shoulder over. I get my hands locked, I have his head and his arm, and I stick out my opposite leg and the move is successful again. And I'm like, all right, 2 for 2 against people that are skilled, bigger, and stronger than me. So this move is working. All right, now I'm like, who else wants to roll with me? So go for another round against an experienced white belt.
Losing time, I'm fading fast. I just wanna make it last.
At one point, he does go for a single leg, and as a response to the single leg, I do a SUMI GAESHI. The thing is, the more tired I get with the SUMI GAESHI, I have found an increased risk of it just looking like a horrible guard pull. This happened to me during my last MMA fight. I went to go for a SUMI GAESHI, and it just looked like I pulled guard, which I would rather be a horrible judo white belt player than a guard puller, but that's just me. During my last rolls, what I found was, in an attempt to do like the front headlock and head and arm, a good counter to that position is the other person going in for a double leg. Now, I have had hundreds, if not thousands of hours of doing a sprawl as a defense to a double leg. So as I got more tired, my brain got confused. Like automatically my leg shot back in the sprawl position, but my brain is like, no, your leg should not sprawl backwards. It should go to the side. That way you can complete the Uki Waza. But when you're tired, it's like a fight. You know what I mean? It's like a fight between your cognitive thinking and what you have stored in muscle memory. So my leg just ended up in this awkward in-between position, and he could get a double leg. So just know that if you don't already know this already, like the more tired you get, the more your body will resort back to its patterned ways of however you trained previously. And finally, here are some tips and struggles that I came up against when I was drilling, and I just wanted to share this with you. That way, you might see these same things. When I first started drilling this with resistance, the first question that popped into my head when you like finally get a snap down or like the club and catch and you're in that position, like I get excited and I'm like, oh my God, what do I do next? And I found that I would forget which side the lockup was. So just remember, the lockup is by the pit. Think pit lock, much like when you do a triangle, your locking legs is on the side where your opponent's armpit is. And then after I drilled that, the next thing was, you get it over there, and then you kind of like, I was like kind of like twinkle toes, like which leg do I stick out? And then in that process, like I ended up getting double legged. One thing to note with Uki Waza is when you get that head and arm on that one side, when I looked down, I noticed that their leg was right there. And it was my brain's natural instinct to want to go for the leg that I could see. But the thing that's really great about this guillotine setup, with where you have the head and the arm, and then you go for Uki Waza, when you're in that position and you have their head and arm, that position automatically makes space between you and their far leg, which is what makes this throw more powerful. Typically with an Uki Waza that you'll see in judo, they take a step to the side before completing the throw. So when you're doing the throw, and if you happen to look down and you see a leg that's close to you, just know that it's the far side leg. It's going to be the leg opposite from your pit lock. And chances are you won't be able to see it, and that's a good thing. That space that's created from you being away from their leg is what's going to make this throw more powerful. And also some side notes that's really interesting for this move. If you also take judo, this move can also be used to counter an osotogari and also to set up an osotogari, because I don't know if you know this, but the counter to an osotogari is an osotogari. So an Uki Waza can be used to both counter an osotogari and set up an osotogari, which I thought was really cool. I don't know.
Avoid. You resist. Change.
Another reason why I love this Uki Waza from front headlock, which is also the same position as a head and arm or arm and guillotine, The reason why I love this move so much is because it starts with a position in which you can get a finish, which is great. And then also, after you complete the throw, you're in a position to finish, which is great it's perfect from a strategic sense. And then on top of that, if you mess up the throw, I don't know about you, but when I was learning this, I messed up a lot, and especially when I got tired, I messed it up. Even if you mess up, it still puts you in a good position if you keep a hold of that head and arm. You can come up and you're still in a good front headlock position, which is better than some of the other throws. If you mess up, you're in a worse position. Your back could be taken, you could be mounted. There. Have you ever played like Super Mario? And do you know the feeling of you're trying to save the princess? Or in this case, let's just say we're Princess Peach, and we're like, you know what, it's 2022, let's just save ourselves. And we're like, all right, Bowser, like I'm just gonna wait until you jump up and then shoot underneath you. That feeling that you get when you're trying to shoot in for a double leg, like that's that feeling. It's like, holy crap, I need to commit 100%, because if I don't, then I'm gonna get sprawled on. And especially when you're going up against a bigger person, like having a 200-pound dude sprawl on you with all their weight is like, I'd rather have a front headlock than that. So the nice thing about this move is it's lower risk and it's less of a commitment than, let's say, shooting in for a double. So this is, another reason why I like this takedown. It's like I love this throw. If you get the head and arm, you already have their body weight in a compromised position going towards the direction of the throw, which is great because then that diminishes the probability of them countering by adjusting their body weight to fight you. Thank you so much for watching. If you have not subscribed yet, go ahead and join, this group of people that enjoy learning, some fight skills. All right, until next time.